The land of dreams has turned into a nightmare. California, once the symbol of freedom, wealth, sunshine, Hollywood glamour, and the legendary American dream, is now collapsing in front of the whole world. It sounds unbelievable, but one walk through downtown Los Angeles or San Francisco is enough to realize something has gone terribly, undeniably wrong. Like a golden empire cracking from the inside, California is falling apart in real time. The same state that once attracted millions with promises of opportunity, innovation, and a better life, is now watching a mass exodus. Families packing everything they own, businesses abandoning their buildings, and entire streets overtaken by tents, addiction, crime, trash, and despair. What happened to the richest, most famous, and most admired state in all of America? Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. People aren't leaving because they want to. They're leaving because they have no choice. They're being pushed out by insane living costs, suffocating taxes, exploding crime, and laws that have turned once beautiful neighborhoods into something that looks like a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie. And the most terrifying part is not what has already happened, but what's coming next. While politicians argue, Hollywood distracts, and activists pretend everything is fine, the reality is brutal. California has lost control. From Silicon Valley to Sunset Boulevard, what used to be a global symbol of success has turned into a global warning sign. So the real question is no longer, is California in crisis? The real questions, the ones nobody wants to answer, are, has California reached the point of no return? Is this the future of the United States? Did the American dream just collapse in the place where it was born? If you think you've seen chaos, corruption, or decline before, you haven't seen anything yet. What you're about to discover is bigger, darker, and more alarming than anyone expected. Get ready. What comes next is not opinion, not exaggeration, not fiction. It's reality. Raw, shocking, and impossible to ignore. This is the side of California that almost no one dares to show. California didn't fall overnight. The collapse came slowly, quietly, and then all at once. First came the warnings, ignored by politicians, silenced by the media, and laughed at by those who believed the dream would last forever. But denial has a price, and now that price has arrived like a tidal wave. The numbers are brutal. Every single week, moving trucks line the streets as families flee to states like Texas, Nevada, and Florida. Companies that once brought billions to the California economy are shutting down offices, relocating headquarters, or abandoning the state completely. Restaurants can't survive the taxes. Small businesses can't survive the crime. And everyday citizens can't survive the cost of simply being alive. A one-bedroom apartment in cities like San Francisco can cost more than a mansion in other parts of America. Gas is among the most expensive in the nation. Electricity prices explode. Taxes pile up. Everything, absolutely everything, has become a financial chokehold. And when people are pushed to the edge long enough, they break. But the economic crisis is only half of the story. Walk through downtown Los Angeles after sunset, and you will witness a scene that feels surreal. Rows of tents, zombie-like addiction, syringes on the ground, shattered windows, sirens, fear, chaos, hopelessness. Streets that once represented Hollywood glamour now resemble a collapsed third-world dystopia. Cities are bleeding, and instead of recovery, the wounds keep getting deeper. Citizens begged for help. Shop owners pleaded for protection. Families asked for safety. But the response came in the form of soft-on-crime policies, failed social programs, and decisions that protected criminals while abandoning taxpayers. The message became clear. You're on your own. And that's when the shift happened. People stopped believing in the system. They stopped trusting their leaders. They stopped hoping that next year would be better. When a society loses hope, it doesn't just decline, it decays. That's the stage California has entered. Not just crisis, but decomposition. The collapse is no longer a prediction. It's a process already in motion. Just look at San Francisco, once one of the most beautiful and iconic cities in the world. Today, even major retail chains boarded up and vanished. Tourists avoid downtown. Locals fear their own sidewalks. Businesses operate behind metal bars and shatterproof glass. The heart of the city is still beating, but the pulse is weak. And here's the part no one wants to admit. California is not just collapsing. It is becoming a warning, a glimpse of what happens when a society ignores its breaking points. The dream that once brought the world to California is now driving the world away from it. The truth is, California didn't collapse by accident. There is a root cause, a perfect storm, built over years of bad decisions, dangerous ideologies, and political blindness. While the world praised California as a model of progress, the foundation was quietly rotting. It started with taxes, some of the highest in America. Then came regulations, squeezing small businesses until they broke. Add billions in failed social programs, combined with policies that rewarded dependency instead of recovery. And finally, soft laws that decriminalized chaos, turning crime into a daily routine instead of a consequence. The state began protecting criminals instead of citizens, addiction instead of treatment, political image instead of public safety. And while ordinary people were punished for trying to live and work, entire districts were handed over to lawlessness, open drug scenes, and permanent homelessness. Then the housing crisis hit, not by chance but by design, driven by decades of restrictive building policies that made homes nearly impossible to afford. What happens when you tax the workers, chase out the businesses, protect the criminals, and remove accountability? You destroy the middle class. And when the middle class dies, a society collapses. California didn't notice, or rather, it refused to notice. While citizens suffered, politicians stood on stages talking about justice, equity, and change, ignoring the disaster growing beneath their feet. It was a performance, and the audience paid the price. So the result was inevitable. The rich stay protected in gated communities. The poor are abandoned on the sidewalks. And the middle class, the backbone of any civilization, disappears. Now the state is split in two. The elite who rule it and the millions who are fleeing it. That's not progress. That's collapse disguised as compassion. And once the illusion breaks, it cannot be rebuilt. California has crossed a line that few societies come back from. This isn't just decline. It's a self-accelerating collapse. Businesses leave, services shut down, crime rises, families flee, tax revenue dies, collapse speeds up. It's a domino effect, and the dominoes are already falling. San Francisco became a symbol, Los Angeles is close behind, Oakland is unraveling, and the ripple effect is spreading faster than anyone expected. Major brands, the giants that once fueled the state, have left. Tech workers have left. Entire neighborhoods are emptying. What remains is a shell of what the dream once was. And here is the cold truth. When a city loses safety, it loses everything. Without security, there is no tourism, no economy, no community, no future. You cannot build prosperity on fear, addiction, and broken laws. You can only build collapse. Now the state faces a reality that no politician can spin. Streets controlled by cartels and gangs. Open-air drug zones. Businesses with metal gates on every door. Children raised in neighborhoods that look like war zones. Citizens who don't believe tomorrow will be better than today. That is the true definition of a society in free fall. California is no longer just a story. It is a warning, a preview of what happens when ideology replaces responsibility and feelings replace reality. A warning to every nation, every city, every leader, every citizen. If it can happen to the richest state in America, it can happen anywhere. And this is the question that now echoes across the country. Will America learn from California or follow it? Because decline is not an event, it's a path. A path made of small, silent decisions, until one day a society wakes up and realizes, the dream is gone. But understanding the collapse is the first step to avoiding it. And that's why this story must be told. Not to spread fear, but to reveal the truth that others refuse to show. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a warning. Follow this channel, because in the next chapter, we expose the next state on the brink. And trust me, it's worse than you think.